Houthis succeed in disrupting rivals' business in Yemen as their Red Sea campaign intensifies. Key Yemen ports functions crippled after deadly Houthi barrage, raising fears over regional trade. 25+ missiles pummel Mocha port. Why could its sudden closure be significant for Red Sea shipping? Mocha sits near the crucial Bab Al-Mandeb Strait, making the port's disruption a major maritime concern. Bab Al-Mandeb shipping at risk as Iran's proxy escalates its war across the Red Sea and targets vital trade routes. Houthi missile and drone attacks have forced Yemen's Mocha port to come to a grinding halt, disrupting vital maritime activity. The Red Sea port has reportedly been hit by more than 25 Houthi missiles since August 9, causing widespread damage. The attacks reportedly killed 7 people and caused estimated losses of around $16 million, deepening the crisis. Houthi strikes also damaged 6 wooden vessels and a dredger being used for the port's ongoing expansion project. The port's closure has also deprived around 1,300 workers of their livelihoods, adding economic pain. The attacks come as a project worth more than $130 million to expand Mocha port was underway. All commercial and maritime operations at the Red Sea port will remain suspended until further notice, authorities reportedly said. Mocha port sits near the strategic Bab Al-Mandeb Strait and critical Red Sea shipping routes, making the disruption especially significant. Houthi military spokesman Yahya Saree vowed to keep targeting Saudi military positions wherever they are, signaling that the group has no plans to halt its campaign. The Houthi spokesman said the group would continue striking Saudi targets as regional tensions remain high and the threat of further attacks grows. The Houthis claimed they targeted Saudi military concentrations and weapons depots in the Mocha area of Yemen during the latest escalation. The claims were reported by Hezbollah-affiliated Al-Mayadeen, which cited statements from a Houthi military spokesman about the alleged attacks. Yemen's internationally recognized government said the Houthis fired 6 ballistic missiles toward Mocha, adding to the intensity of the latest assault. At least 7 people were killed in a Houthi attack on Mocha, according to Reuters, which cited Yemeni officials familiar with the incident. In a separate claim, the Houthis said they targeted an Aramco facility in the Saudi city of Najran with a drone, widening the reported scope of the attacks. The Houthi-run Saba news agency reported the alleged drone strike, citing a military source from the group for details of the operation. The Houthis said the Aramco facility was targeted in response to Saudi military aircraft entering airspace over Yemen's Sada province. The latest claims point to continued Houthi threats against Saudi military positions and energy-linked targets as tensions between the sides remain elevated. Chaos across the Gulf and Red Sea is deepening as Yemen's Houthi rebels intensify pressure on Saudi Arabia, targeting the kingdom's energy infrastructure and maritime trade routes. The Houthi maritime blockade, announced on July 20th, has pushed parts of Saudi Arabia's oil export fleet to operate without publicly visible tracking signals amid fears of attacks. The Ansarullah-led Yemeni armed forces have described the campaign as a blockade-for-blockade strategy, presenting it as a direct response to Saudi restrictions on Houthi-held parts of Yemen. The group says its action is retaliation for more than a decade of conflict, airstrikes, and restrictions imposed on Yemen by the Saudi-led coalition. Tanker tracking firms are now offering conflicting estimates of Saudi oil shipments, because many vessels leaving Red Sea terminals are no longer transmitting continuous AIS location signals. This lack of reliable shipping data has left global energy markets guessing about the real scale of Saudi crude exports and the disruption caused by the mounting Red Sea threat. Saudi Arabian tankers have increasingly switched off their tracking signals to reduce their exposure while moving through high-risk waters threatened by Houthi attacks. Saudi Arabian crude export volumes can no longer be independently verified with confidence, as an increasing number of tankers operate without continuous public tracking signals. Ship tracking firms such as Vortexa, Plur, and AXS Marine are reportedly producing sharply conflicting estimates, while the IEA, OPEC, and traders rely on such data to assess supply conditions. For the week beginning August 3rd, 3 major tracking firms reached 3 different conclusions on Yanbu loadings, highlighting the scale of uncertainty surrounding Saudi export flows. These estimates are critically important because energy traders, international agencies, and oil market analysts use them to measure global supply and forecast potential changes in prices. An average of around 32 vessels per day reportedly passed through the Bab Al-Mandeb Strait last week, reflecting a sharp reduction in traffic through the vital Red Sea shipping route. That figure was down from roughly 50 vessels that crossed the Strait per day before the Houthi blockade and heightened threat of attacks disrupted normal maritime movement. Saudi oil is now reportedly moving north through the Red Sea and toward the Mediterranean via the Suez Canal, as Riyadh searches for safer alternatives to threatened routes. Egypt's Sumed pipeline is also being used to move Saudi crude across Egyptian territory, allowing shipments to reach Mediterranean export terminals without transiting the full Suez route. Loading activity at Saudi Arabia's Red Sea terminals has reportedly dropped by around half since the blockade came into force, underlining the pressure on Riyadh's alternative export network. Turkey has confirmed that it is joining the Saudi-led multinational maritime defense coalition, strengthening Ankara's role in regional efforts to protect vital shipping routes. The coalition was formed to safeguard freedom of navigation and protect international trade and energy supply routes through the Bab Al-Mandeb Strait, the Red Sea, and the Gulf of Aden. The Saudi-led alliance was announced last month and has since moved toward its operational phase, with 13 countries completing procedures to formally join its charter. Ankara's participation also reinforces the Mecca Joint Defense Pact signed last week by Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan, which commits the three countries to a collective security framework. Yemen's Houthis are reportedly weighing transit fees for commercial ships sailing through the Bab El-Mandeb Strait, according to Reuters. The proposal follows the Houthis' recent announcement of a naval blockade targeting Saudi-linked maritime traffic in the Red Sea. Regional sources told Reuters on July 29 that most commercial vessels could face the proposed transit charges if the plan moves forward. The sources said no timetable has yet been set for introducing the proposed fee mechanism for ships using the waterway. Reuters reported that Chinese-flagged vessels would be exempt from the proposed transit charges under the current plan. Two regional officials told Reuters that Iranian officials discussed the proposal with Houthi representatives earlier this month. An Arab official said Iranian advisors later helped develop a body that would administer and oversee the proposed transit charges. If implemented, the proposal could give the Houthis greater influence over shipping through one of the world's busiest maritime trade routes. The Bab El-Mandeb Strait connects the Red Sea with the Gulf of Aden and serves as a critical choke point for global trade and energy shipments.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HT app. Download now.